Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and friend, because Kay Asante is running a little bit behind. We'll get Kay in here momentarily, but Hargeet Chani, all right, so it's Wednesday. We had breaking news on Monday. We had more breaking news on Tuesday. We had the state of play, which, again, we're going to get into the open up the show, folks, because I am of two minds of that. And I got to tell you, star of the show is the new Marvel fighting game by Arc System Works. Oh, my God, it looks so freaking good. But Hargeet, how you feeling? We will be hanging out in a couple of days, having dinner, some drinks. You know, we're going to be checking out the community fan fest that's happening on Sunday, where, of course, you have been really steamrolling ahead with Ben and Ains, and I can't wait to see what you guys have been doing with it. But how you feeling, man? Welcome back.
Yeah, it's still work to be done with that. We're still working through everything. We are mostly there, but there's like little things still left for the fan fest stuff that we have to work through. I'm meeting with them right after this, and then right after that,
you're going to get your Switch too. Yes,
my Switch too. Yes. So that's another thing that's happening right tonight, and whatever, for depending on your time zone, we're getting our Switch 2s. So for those who are actually having, that want to buy a Nintendo Switch, that's happening today. And then, look, we have Summer Game Fest starting in 2 days. I'll be heading out tomorrow, to LA. So
nice.
We're going to be out there and getting all this stuff done. And there's a lot of Play Days stuff going on and IGN stuff going on as far as actual game coverage. And so we're doing all that, and then also doing this Fan Fest thing. And so there's a lot going on, man. It's going to be a jam-packed weekend.
It is going to be busy
Monday afternoon for us. So yeah. But yeah, looking forward to it. I hope we have a good showcase, and we can talk about the state of play we just had.
Yeah,
so it's already started, man. It's already started.
Yeah,
there was also, by the way, The Witcher 4 showing a tech demo.
Hello,
with the Unreal Engine 5.6. Holy crap, right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Look, this is Christmas week for gamers, right? Like, again, it's one of those things that I don't care where you game. I honestly don't. If you're a PlayStation guy or gal, hang out in the chat. This is a very welcoming chat. If you're a Switch-only person, awesome. You got the Switch 2 releasing tonight at midnight. Everyone's excited for it. Again, the negativity we're going to stay away from. We're here to celebrate gaming. I just watched the state of play, and I very much enjoyed it. Again, I have two. To me, it's a flip of a coin. I'm going to explain my personal stance on it. Again, for me, the game of the show for them is the new Marvel Fighter, which looks insane. It looks so freaking good. We'll get into what happened there. But you know what, Kay? Hargeet, let's jump in while we wait for Kay Asante to show up. I haven't gotten a message from him, but obviously I talked to him this morning. He's all ready to go. So let's open up, ladies and gentlemen, with the state of play. Now, again, the reason why I say I'm of two minds isn't because I think any part or flip of the coin is bad. Where I stand is from a game show. If you are looking at this as a games show, it was incredible. There were loads of games. Again, I have the list in front of me. Bloodstain, a sequel to one. Again, it's basically Castlevania. That is the Scarlet Engagement. What a wild name. That's multi-plat. Obviously, Tides of Tomorrow looks really good. Pragmata, we haven't seen that in a long time. I actually thought that was going to be a PlayStation exclusive. Turns out that it's coming to Xbox Series and PC. Silent Hill F, which again, it's Silent Hill. It looks like it's J Horror, which is awesome. That's also multi-plat. And again, got to give a shout out to Hazardor Gaming, as well as Okami 13, Shinobi 602 also. They were posting like demons to get the information out there. What I'm using right now is from Hazardor. We also have the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. That's a multi-plat. Final Fantasy VII Tactics. Oh my God, that's coming back in a big way. And that's releasing on everything. 007 First Light, we got a chance to see what that looks like. I'm gonna be honest with you, it looks really good. It gave me, oh my god, I'm blanking on the game that it reminded me of. It was an Xbox exclusive with all the movies, with the time, you can stop time. Why am I
Quantum Break?
Yes, thank you, kind sir. It did remind me of Quantum Break. Obviously, Sword of the Sea was a place. I think I'm again. He has it down here as PS5 exclusive. So if it is, awesome. Neo 3, which no one saw coming. Neo 1 was amazing, but again, it's Souls, man, and that game was difficult. I did not beat it. I got to a certain boss, and I was probably like the second to the last of the bosses, and he just destroyed me. And I died 100 times, and I got frustrated. So I never thought that we were going to get a Neo 3. That's incredible. The Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is super cool. That's also a multi-plat. Obviously, Metal Gear Solid Delta is that's coming everywhere. But again, for me, Marvel Token, I believe it's how you say, or Token, Fighting Souls. Oh my god, that looked phenomenal. Again, I was telling Hargeet in the chat that right now Marvel Rivals is super hot, right? Like Ultron just dropped. They had a big update. They nerfed a couple of things, they buffed a few others, and a lot of people are coming back to it. And the designs from Arc System Works, man, they look not exactly, because Arc has its own flair. Like if you're unfamiliar with Arc System Works, their first game on the PlayStation 1, 100 years ago, was Guilty Gear. I remember importing that game, and I was completely blown away. I've been a fan since inception. Of course, they also make Blaze Blue, and a couple of those games have actually made their way not only to Xbox, but they were both released on Xbox Game Pass. I think it was last year or the year before, and they haven't been on an Xbox console in a very long time. Like a super long time, which is why I was very surprised that Hargeet, that this is a PS5 and PC exclusive. I actually thought, because Arc System Works was involved, that they might make this, a third, like a third party kind of a thing. But apparently, Sony's PlayStation Studios got involved. They got together, and I know a lot of people are like in their fields. Look, folks, here's the thing: I have a PS5. It's sitting right there. This is a day one buy for me. It isn't a day one buy. It's not even a freaking question that I'm buying this game. But Hargeet, let's get your thoughts on the state of play. Because again, for me, the flip of the coin is this: if you're looking at this, ladies and gentlemen, from a games show perspective, it was absolutely incredible. And what I mean by that is, if you are a PlayStation gamer, not a troll, not a fanboy, not an extremist, just a gamer, you game on PlayStation, you have one, you enjoy it, and you buy a couple of games a year, you're considered a normie. You probably thought this show was a 9 out of 10. You know why? Because it had games. But the other side of the coin is the exclusive first party question mark. And I think that is, for a lot of people, I've actually seen people give this show, some Sony fans give this show a 4. Like, I can't sign off on a 4, but I understand their frustration, and again, you have a lot of the Xbox Showcase apparently is going to slay, and it's all going to be first party. Now, granted, a lot of them are going to be multi-plat, yes, but the first party output for Sony, it's almost like the pipes have frozen and you get just a drop. Ghost of Yotai, folks, make no mistake, that game looks freaking awesome, and I cannot wait to play that on my PS5. But that was something, they showed it, and they didn't show much, and it wasn't anything new. The only exclusive that was there from first party that is not even, is PlayStation Studios helped with it. I don't know if they're just publishing it or they actually sent devs over there, but Arc System Works is the one that actually made it. So there were no actual Sony first-party games outside of Ghosts of Yotai. And I think
it is, though. I think it's a PlayStation game.
Yeah. Oh, so it is a PlayStation game. They just hired, because it did say PlayStation Studios. So I don't know if they're publishing it or they worked on it. But
yeah, no, I think they're the ones who made it happen. So
okay, more than likely they did. And I know again
that's how it is.
One of the running narratives that I see people having an issue with is, why hasn't Xbox reached out to Marvel? Folks, they have. They have Blade coming out. Yeah, it's going to be multi-plat, but this particular situation, and again, I don't have this on good authority. I'm giving you my opinion. Sony owns the movie rights for Spider-Man. And the deals that they have made with Marvel to get Spider-Man in all of their films are paramount to how they tell their stories, right? And whether you want to believe me or you don't, and I don't know this, I'm not in the room when they're signing the contracts, but I think I can say with a good amount of authority that anything that they do with Spider-Man or Marvel, some of this stuff is baked into those contracts through the games. That's why they have an exclusive grip on Wolverine, which is coming out maybe next year, maybe the year after, and all the Spider-Mans. That's why again, unless the Sony decides they want to put stuff on Xbox, it's going to stay on PlayStation. I think that's the thought and theory. But again, it's just a kind of a shot in the dark. First of all, before we get to you, Asante, how are you, kind sir? Welcome.
Sir, I'm doing my best to shake the frustrations off, because Windows did an update and my audio was completely my audio level was zero.
It took
me like 20 minutes to find it.
I hate to say this, folks. You don't know what's going on with poor Asante, but that's the cherry on top of the shit sundae he's been dealt, and it's not good.
Yeah. It's been an interesting couple of days, but I'm here. And I'm here for it. I appreciate being here as usual.
Well, we're happy to have you here. We're going to get into your thoughts of State of Play momentarily. But Harky-chan, let's go right to you. You have some big thoughts, some big theories on Sony's. Well, I mean, it was their big showing for the video games extravaganza of the week, and they shot first with their, having the showcase. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I'd give it a C. It's okay. I liked being able to see 007 for the first time in sort of an actual fashion. We knew it was coming, right? They'd already announced it, but this is the first time we get to see it, and I thought it had a good enough showing for me. I'm happy to play like a Hitman game. Those are pretty cool. So that was pretty good. So we'll see how that works out. It's still next year, so they've got time. But I kind of like that one. Neo looked pretty good.
Yes, it did.
So, and I think it's kind of an exclusive. I don't know if that continues or not. We'll see. But my guess is it's an exclusive. The rest of it, Look, I'm not a big fighting guy, so I don't like the fighting games that much that I would care. So I saw that at the end of it, and I'm like, you're wasting my time. I don't even care. So it just bored me. Some of the other ones were interesting. A lot of it's multi-plat. Getting to see Pragmata yet again, like, okay, cool. It's announced how many years ago now? I
want to say maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. It's been a minute since we've seen that game.
Yeah. And so, like, okay, fine. It's finally coming out next year, I think it said. I don't know, whatever, but it's coming out. They had like Romeo is Dead, which, okay, cool. That's a multi-plat, by the way. Silent Hill, multi-plat. Bloodstained, multi-plat. But like, none of them really like said, oh my God, I got to run out and play that. And like, here's the problem, right? When I see an Xbox showcase, I'm expecting the vast majority of what I'm seeing, I'm just going to get to play it because it's going to be in Game Pass.
Right.
So it's just a totally different calculus. When it's here, it's like, am I going to buy this? Am I going to not spend the time on playing a game that comes to Game Pass to buy this? Now, 007, I'm there. I'm going to buy that, right? The rest of it, I'm like, meh. So Metal Gear is the other one, but I've seen Metal Gear so many times. So like, okay, cool. We get the 7th update of Metal Gear. All right, cool. So that's that. The Mortal Kombat collection. It's an interesting one. Again, that's going to be multi-plat, of course. Again, I was looking for the game that said standout. They showed Ghost of Yotai again. I don't even know why I was there. I don't know what the hell they showed. What was the point of that? That didn't do anything to sell me on the game at all. Right? And they don't have to. It's fair. I think I'm going to like that game anyway. But like, they didn't really, like, why did you bring that to that showcase at all? Right? If you're going to show me it, show me something useful. Like,
I think the reason why it was there, Hargeet, just to add some context, you're asking the question, so I want to see if I answer this being fair. I think the reason why it was there again is because they had no first party of their own games like that. The Ghost of Yotai is special. Again, I know people are going to push back on that. That's fine if you don't think so. I do. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I'm going to love Ghost of Yotai. I think the game is special because I'm a fan of the developer. I'm a fan of the IP. But I think that ultimately, Hargeet, I think that's the reason.
And fine, I get that. But then show me something more than a 30-second clip. Like, that was worthless. Like, even just showing me like behind the scenes with developers. Hey, we came up with this cool thing. We're hoping to show you more in a few months. We hope you like the game. So something more useful than what that was. That did nothing. It was so useless. I don't know why it was. I get why you're saying, hey, you know, they wanted to show because they have nothing else. Fair enough, but they could show something more substantive than that. That was so worthless. But anyway, they spent a lot of time on the Marvel, fighting game.
Yep.
Which, again, if you like fighting games, I get it, cool. But like, those are very niche, and you're talking about like games that maybe how many copies is it Guilty Gear? What are the ones that they made? They make
the Arc System Work games. They're okay. They sell okay. They sell to the fans of Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue. Are they selling in the millions? I mean, I could do a search and tell you what the last Guilty Gear sold, and it was probably around 900,000 copies or something like that. Like it's
okay. So very niche. One of the things I'm very disappointed in PlayStation on is this was their chance to at least try to put this stuff on Nintendo, at least. But no, being the stupid, PlayStation that they are, they decided to put this game on PC and PlayStation only. I'm pretty sure this is a PlayStation game. They're the ones doing it. And that's why it's locked to those two platforms, because of hubris, instead of saying what's good for the game. So I just don't understand why that game is not everywhere. If you're gonna have a game that's that niche, put it everywhere. Like, let it try to get some legs under it. Maybe they think because it's Marvel, it'll change things, but there was like Marvel versus Capcom and all those games, like those exist. How well did those do? Did they sell like 10 million copies? I doubt it.
So I have some numbers in front of me. I'll get the Marvel versus Capcom, the last one. I'll get you those numbers. So in circulation of Guilty Gear, the last one, which was hold on a sec. I got Guilty Gear Strive. That came out in June 11th of 2021, and it says here Guilty Gear Strive exceeded 2.5 million copies. Now it doesn't specifically
bad, right?
Yeah, and again,
I will also not to interject, but I have to because we're talking numbers.
Please.
Right after they released that in November of 2021, they also, Arc System Works, released Dragon Ball FighterZ, which surpassed 10 million copies worldwide.
Yeah, I mean that's Dragon Ball. Yeah,
that's Dragon Ball. Exactly.
Well, Dragon Ball and Marvel.
Yeah, hello? I agree. I think it's going to sell.
But I don't know. We'll see, man. I don't know that it's going to be that big, but we'll see. So look, I would have preferred that they put it everywhere. That would have been a better thing to do for a fighting game. How much did Street Fighter 6 sell? Was that a
Not
lot?
a lot.
That's a
yeah.
huge IP when it comes to fighting games. That didn't matter, right? So multiverses, that's DC characters that failed and the studio went away.
Yeah.
So again, I caution people into thinking that's a good idea. That was literally everywhere too. It didn't matter. So this is just a bad idea to not just put it everywhere. Give it its chance. But anyhow, this is PlayStation. That's what they do. This is why I like the opposite. When Xbox is doing something, like, let's just give it its chance. Put it everywhere. That way, you know, if Killer Instinct, whatever comes out, it won't be hampered by just being on one platform. It's like, just put it everywhere. Let it get its legs. If it's going to have legs on Switch, go for it, right? Why not? And that even if it wasn't on Xbox, I still don't understand why they didn't think about putting it on Switch. There's 150 million of them out there. Why the hell not? Does this game really require that much that it can't be put there? Anyway, that's my feelings of it. I think this showcase was meh. I give it a C. You know, some of the other games that were there, okay, they're cool. But again, none of that like marquee big announce that I cared about, right?
Okay,
so
I mean, that's fair.
They didn't headline it with anything I cared about, but that's kind of the problem. It was a rumor that there was going to be a 2.5D like Prince of Persia Lost Crown.
Yes,
Metroidvania game for God of War.
Yes, they're supposedly
would have been killer. That would have been an awesome announce, but no. That was not there. So I don't know if that's true or not. The game actually exists or not. I don't know, whatever. But like that would have been an awesome announce, but it wasn't there. Okay. And so this is my disappointment with them. They just don't have no games. And that's kind of the problem. Every time it's something from a third-party lockdown, like Neo might be a third-party lockdown. I don't even know. Right.
It more than likely is because Neo 1 and 2 are still to this day PlayStation exclusives. So
we shall see. But that was like basically my thoughts of it. I'm disappointed. And by the way, I think Keely's poll, I don't know if you can bring it up.
I can.
It was a D. It was a D.
Yeah, I saw that a lot of people. And again, I really think the D. So all right, so let me throw these numbers before we bring Keasanti in. You asked for numbers, so I got the numbers. And this isn't good. Okay, so Street Fighter 6 launched on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, right? Now Street Fighter 6 it's absolutely incredible. Make no mistake, it's an incredible fighter. Probably the best in the series, I would dare say, right? Some people are going to push back because they'll go back to the old school stuff, but I'll push forward because I think the game is amazing, right? So selling worldwide, I have the updated numbers from March 31st of 2025. As of that date, being on 3 different ginormous platforms, it only sold 4.6 million copies. That is not a lot across all of those platforms and all of those consoles, and of course PCs. So I went take it a little bit further, and you asked about the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which is the last one that they released. And that was across multiple platforms as well. That only sold, and again, this is as of March 31st, 2025, 2.4 million copies. And that was the big one. And the one before that, which was excellent and still is because you can play it everywhere, is the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And that did a little bit better at 5.5 million copies, not including the PlayStation Vita port. So I don't know how many people bought it on Vita. I think I did actually when I had Vita because I bought a lot of Vita games. But so yeah, 5.5 million copies as of March 31st of 2025 for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and of course there was a total of 5.5 million for the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So I again, Hargeet, I don't know how many people are going to race to buy this game. I could tell you I'm racing to buy this game because it looked incredible. Keasanti, let's bring you in, brother. Did you get a chance to check out the state of play? What you see? What do you think? Yep. And I'm going to bring up Keely's thing in a second and see what the people are saying.
So for me, as it always tends to be, it's a tale of two stories, right?
Okay.
If you are a person who's just sitting there going, you know what, I want to see some games. What games are there to be playing? What games are they showing off to get me excited? I thought it was a decent show. I did. I saw interesting things that even I wanted to play. I saw games that I thought, hey, this is exciting stuff. I really enjoyed it. I can rattle like off of the games I saw, me, myself, and I. There are 11 that I would go, yeah, I play that. That's awesome, right? Like, forgive me. I know some may come for me, but I love Luminous. So when I saw Luminous is back, I was there. I love Luminous. I'm a handheld guy, right? I love Tetris. Tetris Connected was like one of my favorite games. Luminous has the same kind of energy. So I love Luminous. I always have. So I saw Luminous. I was happy. Pragmata, I thought it was really interesting. I feel like, and it's a kind of a thing that's going to be repeated in my estimation of the showcase, because I feel like there was a lot of Kojima energy in some of these games. Pragmata really had that, right?
Yes,
really had that. But I also I like that they showed it, right? They showed actual gameplay. They showed stuff you do. I actually thought that was pretty interesting. You know, yes, we've seen it already, and yes, it's multiplat. This is a multiplat show. You know, it showed you gameplay, proper gameplay, and I actually thought it was pretty cool. So I put that on my list. Romeo Romeo is a dead man. Pseudo can do no wrong. He always does crazy stuff. This looked like that. Graphics look great. Also multiplat. Will be fun to play. What's Horigami, Ninja Gaiden, Karen, of course, Mortal Kombat. I'm like a Mortal Kombat fiend from way back. So I'm a Mortal Kombat guy. Thief in VR. Yes, I know it's not popular, but Thief as an IP fits so well in that VR idea. I'm excited to see if they finally pull that off. Okay. Sword of the Sea. That game literally stole Journey's energy. And I played Journey like multiple times. I love Journey. The game Journey is one of the reasons why I love playing the PlayStation 3 at the time and all this. Like, Journey is one of the special game. And to me, Sword of the Sea really spoke to that. It
had that same energy, brother. You're not
really,
wrong.
It's beautiful. I was like, yup, oh yeah, I'm there. I was in it. I'm in it. And of course, 007, of course, right? Of course. Come on now. 007 looks great. You know, and then of course we're talking about this the fighting game. So like for me in general, as a gamer who loves games, they showed me games I love. It was a decent show. Now, if you're somebody who owns multiple platforms, or somebody who's there to be like, well, what is PlayStation specifically doing to make me to justify my purchase or whatever? Yeah, I would not disagree with you if you were disappointed, because it wasn't much from them to show. Right. But again, to be fair, they did say it's a third-party showcase, right? They did throw Ghost of Yotai in there for some reason. I agree with I agree with Hargeet. There was really it really didn't show much of anything. So it kind of wasn't, you know, the time they spent talking about the indie games that they did, which I appreciated, right, told me they didn't have much. Because in other showcases where they did have much, they would not have spent as much time reiterating the price points. You showed it on the screen, people read it, you move on. But then they came back and talked about it, right? It tells me they needed to fill the space. I have been speculating with other people that maybe what do you call it? Bungie's game, the multiplayer game, Marathon might have been slated to be shown off in one way, shape, or form, and now due to the issues that it's having, now they had to, you know, possibly quickly make an alteration or a change to the program, and that's why it may look like it looked like they were kind of filling a little bit, just a little bit, right?
I agree.
It looked like they were filling a little bit, right? So, but by and large, for me, you know, in a vacuum, a gamer wanting to play games, looking at games, I thought it was a decent show. It was fine. I would give it a strong 7.58. I thought it was good, right?
Okay. I mean,
but as a PlayStation showcase, PlayStation showcase, not so much, you know.
I mean, again, you and Hargeet killed it. Great points of view. I don't think anybody's being overly pointed. I think everyone is being incredibly fair. So, Hargeet, as you asked, I have the poll in front of me. And I'm not going to show it because again, it's I could just read it and it's fine, folks. So this is from Jeff Keighley's official Twitter account. As of right now, like 7:32 p.m., there has been 114,948 votes. It's the final results. It's had over nearly 600,000 views. People have viewed this. And here are the results. For A, 5.7. 5.7% of people said it was an A. 19.5% said it was a B. 33.2% said it was a C. And 41.6% said it was a D or below. So if we're, again, folks, it's only 115,000 people, and I'm not being facetious.
There
are millions of gamers, but that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
That's a representative size. That's pretty big.
So again, I mean, if we're gonna look at this and be completely fair, C and below for any game show would be considered a failure, right? Most people will be like, yeah, I gave it a C because I didn't really care, whatever, right? And again, it's fine if you think that. So the positive aspect of the conversation would be, of course, being above, right? Be negative, be positive, whatever, right? So the A's and the B's equate to 25.2% of the vote. A's and B's, 25.2%. The rest of the votes, folks, is C and below in total. C and D and below equates for 74.8% of the populace said that this show was a failure. I mean, again, it's 115,000 people. If it was 115 million people, I think that'd be we really be scratching our heads here. But it's only and I'm not being facetious, folks. It's 115 million, 115,000 people. It's still a significant number, and his polls don't last for like days. He literally put it up and then took it down. Did he do that on purpose? Did he take it? Did he stop it because people were dumping on the show? I don't know, but overall, most people said it was a D. Okay, if you thought that, I'm not going to fight anybody, but look, it's the first show of the week. And I think that a lot of the criticism you're going to hear in the next couple of days is because Sony still does not have a first-party roadmap, and bringing Ghosts of Yotai the way that they did, I think did this show a disservice. Like I said, for me, the Marvel game is incredible. I cannot wait for it. I'm a huge Arc System Works fan, so I'm going to love it. I'm going to buy it, and I cannot wait until next year. But I'm sure there's a lot of people like Hargeet that don't care about fighters and like, whatever.
Quick question from me, Boom.
Sure.
This whole thing, right? With this, and Hargeet was talking about it, and I was doing a bit of digging myself with this whole Arc System Works game with Marvel, right? They built it. They published it. They literally hired Arc System Works. They literally put the pieces together themselves. Mm-hmm. Why the hell, instead of doing just Marvel, why the hell didn't they do Marvel versus PlayStation?
Oh, dude, that was
why didn't they do that? Like they literally went they went to Marvel, Works. Right? Yeah. Marvel said, "Sure, go for it." They hired Arc System Works. They put all these pieces together. The first thing that the people that I was watching it with said was, "Oh, no Capcom. You should have put PlayStation in there. Marvel versus PlayStation. What the hell? It sells itself."
I mean, I have listen again. I don't know. Would it surprise me if a Kratos or one of their other, very popular IPs? I'm not talking about like the cartoon ones. Like Astrobot wouldn't be there. That'd be stupid. But I could see someone like Nathan Drake. He's not a superhero, but I could see a Nathan Drake animated character. I could see a God of War. I could see an Aloy in there.
And to be clear, the reason why I'm saying this is not because Marvel versus Capcom is not better, but you can't control Capcom, right? You don't control Capcom. But you've already gotten buy-in from Marvel, and you already have IPs you control. So why not throw your IPs in there with the IPs you already got now? Like,
it's a great point of view, brother.
Right
That's
there.
phenomenal point of view. And it's honestly, could it be in the plans? Sure. But I think that ultimately, I'll put it to this way, if they would have shown Nathan Drake teaming up with Kratos to slap down Captain America or something, I'm sorry, I was going to curse. The world would have been excited. Like, listen, again, I'm very excited for this game, but I understand that's a great piece of criticism.
It's niche, unfortunately. It's very niche.
Fighters are niche, unfortunately. Yeah, no. Okay, well,
what about Witcher 4? What did you guys think about that?
Okay, so I did something. I have my beautiful stylized Witcher controller ready to go. I downloaded Witcher 3. I'm going to try for the 4th time because someone DM'd me and says, "Boom, everything you hated, there's an automatic mode for it all. Like even the solvents for the swords does it automatically." I'm like, okay, I'm going to download the Series X edition. And I'm going to give it another, and I'm going to start. This would be the 4th freaking time I'm starting over, but I got to figure out what's wrong with me. Is it a me thing, chat? It might as well be, but the game looked amazing. I know that there's some controversy with, whether or not it's in game or it's in world or whatever. Listen, the game looks freaking amazing. I just think that, and Harky, you said the number. You said it's Unreal Engine 5.6, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, they added some new features. Now that game was not in a gameplay demo. It was a tech demo. Let's just
tech demo. Yes.
Let's just be clear about that. So don't necessarily expect that that's what it's going to look like. However, they're going over some features with 5.6 that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right. Giving you capabilities that we really haven't seen yet on the consoles. 60 FPS, ray traced, lots of capabilities from the new Lumina Nanite that seem to be taking advantage of things that are making it faster, more performant. Very cool stuff. I don't know if it'll translate correctly. I'll wait till it comes out to see if it actually works, right? But I liked what I saw. It looked pretty cool.
Again, it's just one of those weeks that we're you know what's crazy about this week specifically. Again, it started with Monday because IO announced the James Bond title. They announced they're having their own showcase, which is the first time they're doing that, which is amazing. It's so many of these amazing games like The Witcher 4. Like I almost glanced over it. Like you mentioned it, now it popped back in my head. But that's because honestly, as a gamer, I'm so overwhelmed with there's so much news to keep up with. It's crazy. So listen, gentlemen, ladies in the chat, first of all, we have 550 people here. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your Wednesday evening to hang out with Harky Chani, Keasante, and myself. We have, this is going to be a very fun show, right? I know it was, we talked about State of Play, and originally that wasn't a part of the plan, but then they announced State of Play and we had to talk about it. There are 2 topics getting into the Xbox Game Show that I want to get into, and they're fun, right? How it's going to go is each one of us are going to give your 3 bombastic picks that you want there. I don't care what they are. If you say, God damn it, Boom, I'm picking Half-Life 3. It's going to show up. Gabe is going to walk out himself and show with a controller and play the game in front of me. That's an okay pick. And chat, I want you involved. Give me your 3 picks. I don't care how bombastic they are. This is your hopes and dreams opportunity. And to close out the show, and this is always a fun one, what opens the Xbox showcase and what closes it? That's what I want to know from the chat. And of course, the panel. So Harky, we'll start first with you. Your 3 picks could be as wild as you want. Now, again, there's a lot of information in front of us that we know. So, of course, I'm hoping that you go bananas like I'm going to go and say, this is what I want there. What are your 3 picks that you absolutely hope that are there?
Well, I mean, one of them is simple. It's Halo. I just want anything on, Halo. Some proof of life that they're doing anything. with Halo, besides the book that got announced telling us the story beyond Halo Infinite's current status. That would be like the top thing I definitely want. Now, beyond that, I mean, we already got the one that that like Ninja Gaiden that they're doing that. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
There's, you know, I don't know which stage it's going to be on, but there's Splinter Cell, and Splinter Cell could be something that Xbox has decided to like fund. So that means it'll be published by them or co-published or whatever you want to call it, but it'll be in Game Pass. So that would be really cool, because last I heard, I thought it got sidelined, and yet we're hearing that it's coming, right? So,
well, can I add some context to what you're asking? Because the other day, I think it was Monday. No, maybe it wasn't Monday. Maybe it was Friday. There was a post from Ubisoft Plus, and it was a picture of Sam Fisher. Now,
yeah.
Again, you're not on social media, so obviously you wouldn't know it unless someone said, "Hey, Hargeet, look in the Discord, look at this." They did tease that, and interestingly enough, there is not going to be a Ubisoft show, which they normally do themselves. So again, take those two pieces of context and say, wait, they're not doing their own show. They've already teased it. Who has a big show? Well, it didn't show up on Sony's stage. Who has a partnership with them? Who has literally just put the Division 2 into Xbox Game Pass? Oh, that's right. That is Ubisoft. So, Hargeet Chani, you might be onto something.
Yeah, and so, you know, let's see what they do with that. Now, this is all like just crazy talk, right? So, the other one I'd love to see is, you know, if they want to pull it off, Deus Ex was in the
Holy
works,
matrimony. Yeah, dude.
and it was canned or put on hiatus because they don't have enough money to keep doing it. And wouldn't it be nice if somebody walked in with a little money bag and said, "Hey, we can put this in Game Pass," and we suddenly get Deus Ex. That would be another cool thing to see. We'll see if they do something like that. I don't know, but certainly that you know, studio as part of the whole umbrella of Embracer is going through all the turmoil that Embracer is going through. So I don't know how well that's going to go, but if that was something that could happen, that would be fantastic. I'll give you one extra, which would be out of nowhere. You know, the absolute crazy thing would be an acquisition. If they announce we've acquired,
I love
holy crap. So that's the bonus. That's not a game, but that would be an announcement. That would be crazy. And I don't, you know, it could be a small thing. It could be a massive thing. I don't care. An acquisition would be awesome just to see something new happening there.
I mean, what if they like, okay, so while we're on the subject, first of all, shout out to Crusader Seth, who's laughing at my holy matrimony. One of my friends when we were kids actually said that, and it stuck with me my whole life. It's the craziest thing. So Hargeet, to kind of just harken back to about a month ago, there was a conversation that there, and again, this was real, folks. This was reported on by Reuters that that Ubisoft was shopping some of their IPs. Right, that was reported by Reuters. That was reported by the Wall Street Journal. It's not horseshit. It was literally reported. So you said acquisition. Okay, I love what you're putting down. But what if they do show, you know, a new Splinter Cell, and it's under the Xbox Games Studios banner? Like that would bring that. Now, granted, it's going to be a multi-plat. Like let's not get it twisted.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that piece. Yeah.
But I don't care. But it would be in Game Pass, and it would be an Xbox first-party IP on top of the gazillion they already own. I mean, that's a great bunch of picks there, and I like the bonus one because I think, look, they're out from under the thumb of the FTC. Like that is a done deal. Right? That's officially a done deal.
And because of that, I hope what happens next is we just get hey, the 360 Call of Duties, boom, here they are. They're on Game Pass, right? Because they were kind of under the gun of not. So if people don't know this, the FTC had a stipulation that they couldn't really integrate Activision Blizzard King into Microsoft proper until this whole thing was resolved. So they might have just been like holding off on putting stuff into Game Pass because they're like, well, what if this thing actually is pulled back? Then how do we undo that, right? Because are we going to take it away? So
great point of view.
There might have just been like hey, we're going to do very minimal, which is what they've been doing, like a 1 a month type of thing, because then they would maybe pull it back, right? But I just hope they say, at this point, Call of Duty is now in Game Pass, because there's no reason not to. They can absolutely do it, right? So why not, right? But yeah, I hope they just do that. Now the FTC thing is done. I hope that happens now. We should get a whole bunch of games coming in.
I mean, the Activision Blizzard catalog is one of the big holdups. Like, again, I know there's going to be some people in here that are like, oh, yeah, boom, but old games. Look, folks, here's the thing. I don't know about you, but since they put the arcade classics, I find myself playing games that I used to play with my dad, like boxing that looks like sticks and dots, right? Like I'm playing Scramble, or I'm playing Atlantis, one of my favorite shooters from way back in the days. I mean, who gives a shit about that? But I do. And so I would love to be able to go and play Prototype and, again,
absolutely, right?
Like, you pick any
why
of the
not?
Why not? Exactly.
And remember, it's not just for us. You always think about it from like the person who's been there forever. There are always new people coming in, right? There's always kids who are just starting their journey and they want to play games, and having Game Pass, have all this stuff in there is a fantastic way to get into all these games.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just a cool thing to have. If you want something that's going to destroy the world, the funniest thing would be is if Square shows up and says Final Fantasy 17 published by Microsoft.
Holy matrimony, dude. That's, oh my God. That is scandalous, kind sir. Oh my God. So you're
awesome.
saying that Square Enix has been acquired. It's just saying.
It doesn't even have to be acquired. It's just like Final Fantasy 16 was locked down by Sony. Now, in this case, Microsoft would never lock it down. They would just publish it. It's in Game Pass permanently. But
Jesus Christmas. that would set the world on fire. That's one of those world breaker moments, man. That the world just snaps open and it's just hell comes to earth. It's crazy. So, shout out to that one guy in the chat. He says he would love them to bring back X-Men Legends. Brother, that is a solid pick. I like Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. I like the Beanox games. I said it the other day. The Beanox
Transformers,
games,
right?
Oh, bro. Yeah. I mean, it's so many they could bring.
Was it Deadpool? I think they have those two.
Deadpool was one of them. Singularity is another high pick for me personally. Singularity was an incredible first-person game. I've mentioned it 100 times, and people have probably done the virtual tomatoes, but we will get to the picks. Let's see. So BT Maverick says he would love a Portal 3, a Half-Life 3. He even says Orange Box 2, which is awesome. Let me see some of the other picks here, and we'll get right over to Kay Asante. Big B Money says, "Buy Sega." Listen, from your mouth to the gaming god's ears. After that 65th anniversary announcement, I was hoping that there would be followed. We are now owned by Microsoft. That would be amazing. Let's see. APIMB in the chat says we'd love to see a Call of Duty channel with all of the games, kind of like a Master Chief Collection a la Call of Duty. That sounds freaking awesome. Shrouded Divine says Kingdom Hearts 4. That, and you know something? That could be there now.
Due to be shown, isn't it?
It is due to be shown, but here's the thing. Regarding the Splinter Cell, I forgot who said it in the chat. I think it was Sin that said it, that Keeley might actually have that. That's a strong thought, because there is the Keeley game show that's happening. And listen, look, whether you like the guy or you don't, this is going to be a big show. I know he's a Sony guy. Okay, so what? It's fine. But I think that the Summer Games Fest is starting to, I think it's going to be better than last year. I know that he was very proud to say that they have over 60 vendors plus that are a part of this show. I don't know if everyone is going to have a game to show, but there are 60 vendors. That's a pretty big deal. So I think that you might get something. You might get Resident Evil 9 there. Like, I don't expect that at the Xbox showcase. I just don't. But I do expect that at least at the Keeleys. But hey, things have changed, right? You never know. Asante, let's bring you in and get your 3 wackadoo picks, because I'm going to continue to scan the chat here, see if any other interesting ones in here. We have Shroud of Divine has a couple of good ones, but let's get your 3. Oh my God, I can't believe this happening. This is happening. I'm quitting gaming. Like, what announcements would drive you back?
I don't think there's any 3 announcements that are at that caliber. Like, I don't think so. And you guys have already like pointed out the ones that I would have picked anyway. I mean, at this point, Splinter Cell is like a shoe-in. It should be a shoe-in, right? Like, it should be. But as is with Silksong, it probably won't be, because everyone keeps asking for it, right? So it is what it is. The 3 I've chosen, and I also have a dark horse as well. I will, and my dark horse is I call it a dark horse because it's evil. It's evil. Okay, it come with it the apocalypse. We shall see. So, the one that I want, the one that I definitely want, Wolfenstein 3.
Oh, dude,
come on,
great
like,
pick,
come on,
yeah.
Before they showed him the door, freaking the dude at Bethesda, I forget his name now. He also said that they were still working on. They were still.
Are you talking about Todd Howard?
Not Todd
Pete
Howard.
Hines.
No, Pete Hines. Pete Hines.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Pete Hines. Yeah,
Todd's still there.
Yeah, Todd's still there. Yes. Pete did say on stage at one of their last big, events where he was still part of the organization. He did still say that those teams are still working on the next one. I need to see them show me, the next trailer. I need to see that. So for me, the one I really want to see is Wolfenstein 3. I want to see a gameplay reveal of Perfect Dark.
Oh, fan-friggin-tastic, dude. That's a great pick.
They showed me a video of it last year. It was awesome. Now show me somebody playing it.
Yep.
Like, properly playing it. Right? That's the cycle, isn't it? 1 year they show you gameplay. They show you the reveal. The next cycle, the next time they show you, they put some more meat on the bones. I want more meat on the bones this time. So there's that. The worst kept secret, Halo Combat Evolved remastered. Like, damn right. You're damn right. I want to see that thing there. I need to see it with all the bells and whistles. I need to see it blow wigs back. I need to see it. Right. That would make you super happy. Killer Instinct 2.
Yeah.
The new Killer Instinct. I need to see that. Like, we've been hearing about it for too damn long. Show me it's working. If nothing else, give me a GIF. I need to see that it exists. Right. Obviously, there's all these other codes that have been in the zeitgeist for a long time that we want to finally put to bed. Contraband and the Everwilds and the State of Decay 3s and all of that. Another thing, I want to see Clockwork Revolution.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There's so much we could go into at this point, because they have so many studios as well as the publishing arms and all of that. It's all fair game, right? To your point, Boom. I want to see them come back and hit me with a remaster collection of Prototype 1 and 2.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many potential options. So my darkest of dark horse, the one that I said that was evil. Yeah, Starfield announced for PS5 with all the bells and whistles.
Wow, that's an evil one, sir. Yes,
that's an evil. That's probably going to happen too.
People are loading up the trucks with the torches and the pitchforks. Look out, okay.
That's probably going to happen too.
It's probably going to happen.
Don't we already expect that though?
Of course.
Is that really that much of a dark horse?
No.
No, I mean, it's more of a reality than anything.
I only call it a dark horse because I know people in these waters will probably go, they won't really like that. It is what it is. It's fine.
I mean, listen, all great picks so far. So look, I have to go. You mentioned Prototype 1 and 2. Thanks to a broken NDA, which you're not supposed to do if you sign those things, ladies and gentlemen. You get in real big trouble. So don't do that if you ever sign one. That leaked a couple of weeks ago. Prototype 3, I would like to see now. Is it even in development? Well, I have no idea, but I know that Activision themselves have been polling people, asking questions. I love the idea of Alex Mercer coming back and getting a GTA styled city, which would probably be New York. At least that's the rumor. It'd be back in New York City. And obviously it would be with updated graphics. I don't know who is going to actually make the game. I'm sure that they still have people that made the original 1 and 2. I'm hoping for something like that. Like, for me, that would be a really big announcement. And again, it's going to be a multi-plat game. So I personally could care less. I know that there was a story that broke from Ecstasies the other day where he had it on really good authority that there were 2 games, 2 first-party and 2 second-party games that were going to be at the show and announced for Xbox, Xbox Game Pass, and also be launching day and date with PlayStation 5. Now, again, the story goes, ladies and gentlemen, is 2 of those games were from Double Fine, meaning Tim Schafer's. And we know that he's been working on multiple games. So apparently those games are going to be shown and be announced for Xbox, of course, and PlayStation. Who cares? The other one that was interesting was 2 games, not 1, 2 games from Toys for Bob. Now, Toys for Bob, we know that they were purchased with the Activision deal. They became, solo owned again. It's something that they did before Activision bought them and, threw them to the salt mines, as Kay likes to say, of Call of Duty. And, obviously there was a real popular, I forgot the YouTuber's name. I should be ashamed of myself. He's actually sat down with them. He's a really good YouTuber that they're working on Spiral. That's not surprising. The question would be, what is the other game? So, of course, me being the nerd that I am, and again, folks, you can boo me if you want. I'm going to say it. And Paris, if you're here, brother, please, throw me a clap or something. Banjo-Kazooie. God damn it. I am not going to get off of this hill until Banjo-Kazooie comes back. And I think that if there is one studio that should and could do it, it is definitely going to be Toys for Bob. As a matter of fact, they've already come out and said publicly that they would love a shot at the Bird and Bear. I mean, so look, like I said, I've said it before, folks. I know a lot of people want new. I understand that people don't dig the remakes or remasters or whatever, but I think they have a place, especially if the game is super old. Like like, for instance, Nintendo's having their showcase. And I know, Hargeet, you're excited about that because you're getting a Switch. I'm getting a Switch. Kay's getting a Switch. Who in the chat's getting a Switch? Throw your hand up there because I can't wait. I'm very excited for it. We all want a new 3D Mario. Honestly, for me personally, I don't. And hear me out. Here's why. I think that Mario Odyssey 2 would be incredible. Odyssey 1, I sat and played, and I'm not kidding, folks, over 100 hours. It might even be more than that with Tyler. We played that game until we fell asleep on the couch. Like, I loved that game. Probably one of my favorite Marios. So that would be a no-brainer. Mario Galaxy 3, people would pass out in the aisles if that happens. And even as great as those games are, I don't want either of them. What I want as a big old nerd is I want Mario 64 remade from the ground up. That would be my ultimate. That's never been done for that game. That game is when I tell you, the pinnacle in the series, folks, it brought Mario to 3D. Like, how many people in the chat here? I see you. I see. I'm no names here. Stood at that stupid screen pulling on Mario's nose for an hour. I know I did, right? So come on, folks. Don't leave me on this island by myself. You pulled Mario's nose. You got to throw one in the chat.
I pulled Mario's nose like 3 weeks ago when I was playing it recently. So there you go.
Well, there you go, kind sir. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, Cheese is nasty. He says, yes, Mario 64 is the best game ever. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, sir. Gamer Live 95 said he did as well. Cyber Gunter says, not me. I'm not pulling on anything, Mario. How dare you, kind sir? How dare you? Oh, my God. So listen, again, that's my second one. So I have Prototype 3. It's a hope. So this one is known, and it becomes even more incredible because did anyone see the post from Undead Labs today about State of Decay? You know, there was a tease, and then it was and there was some like video, and I don't know what the video was. I'm looking at it, I'm like, is that a person? Is that real? Is that the graphic? I couldn't tell. So I'm just gonna say that I think State of Decay 3 is going to be there in a big way. Like, I really think the Undead Labs shows. I don't think it's this year. I think it's next year for sure, because there was some rumors that they were and wanted to release it this year, but Xbox is in a position they don't have to rush anything. My last pick involves State of Decay, and here's why. The one thing that I've always championed Xbox for doing is being amazing in telling or having a game come out like a Gears of War or a Halo and giving you a incredible multiplayer experience, but also giving you an incredible single player story driven narrative that just makes this one game one of your favorite games from your favorite platform. And that could be Gears 1, that could be Gears 3, that could be Halo 3 or Infinite. You know, Xbox does it really well. And they're probably some of the best in the business. And I've been saying this for years, Asante and Hargeet, and I know there's going to be people in here that are going to boo me for this. I think that State of Decay as a survival type of game is incredible. It does a lot of things really right, and I love it. And if you love playing multiplayer with permadeath and all that stuff, that is awesome, and that shouldn't change. But I do think that there is room, ladies and gentlemen, for State of Decay to have this standardized multiplayer survival game that everyone knows and loves, that will spend hundreds upon hundreds of hours looting and, you know, checking trunks and running into houses to kill, you know, the hearts and clear areas for your map. That's awesome, and that should not change. But Asante and Hargeet, I still think that taking this franchise and not moving it forward, to me, is a mistake. I think that if and again, this is just for me, this is not for anyone else in the chat, I think the game is going to do incredibly well. It's probably going to be a multi-plat. It's probably going to have cross-play, cross-save, all the wonderful things that we know and love. And I think that there is room to have this open world survival horror thing happen. But I think there's also room to have a single player, story driven narrative that someone like myself who enjoys single player games could play. You get a protagonist. Maybe it's the original female that we saw in the woods when she's screaming at the animals that have turned into now zombies. Maybe it's her story that we get to play. I kind of like that idea. So that's my third pick. I don't know if anybody wants to expand on that, Hargeet or Asante.
No, I think that's a strong pick. Very strong pick. I was hoping with the video that they showed early on that they were doing exactly what you're saying, which is they took that idea, they love the sandbox idea, that sandbox idea continues to exist, but mature it into a more story-focused first person, maybe third person, single player, multiplayer, like add proper story to what already exists. Because what exists now is really great, but it's lacking some of that polished story content. That like it's the difference between The Last of Us, for example, versus like a generic zombie game, right? They need to add a little more character to the game, and add characters that themselves make you care about them in their story as they're going throughout their journeys, right? So I think I'm hoping that they see the benefit and they see the potential of that IP and they take it there. Yeah.
I mean, look, I love the idea of taking these two different pieces of the game and merging them together for this symbiotic type of existence. So what am I talking about is State of Decay 2, I put 60 hours in and I loved it. And it's, especially when you go out at night, it's horrifying. Like it's straight up scary, right? But if you were to, again, this is the symbiotic type of mode I'm talking about. You could have your multiplayer, your world survival multiplayer, and at some point during that, you could cross into meeting the character that was the single player from the single player story driven part. I just think that there's room there for something like that. Again, it's just listen, we're thinking crazy here, so that's my hope. I hope that they give us both. I think that because I will play the multiplayer, sure. I will play the survival aspect, absolutely. But I would really love a narrative focused, Days Gone-esque type of mode for this. I just think that there's enough there. This world is packed with incredible stories that can be told if given the opportunity. Again, that's just my take on it. Hargeet, I'm going to go back to you because we have to get into now. This is super fun, folks, and I want the chat involved here. What opens the show and what closes the show?
Well, look, it's an interesting question of do you not start with Call of Duty, and I just think they will. I think that's too big a thing that they won't. Like, I think they'll still continue to start with that.
What would you start and close with, though? Because again, I think you're onto something. I think Call of Duty is too big not to start. I hope that they don't. That could be a second or a third, and it's fine. I want to see something new.
So, look, I've been hinting that I think, and this is not substantiated, but I think that Forza Horizon 6 is coming. And
yes.
So, if you're going to start with a bang, that's a bang. So, you could just do that. I mean, outside of something crazy like the things I was mentioning, right? That you start with like Final Fantasy 17. Now that would be crazy, okay? Or maybe Splinter Cell. You hear the classic, and like it goes into Splinter Cell. But other than that, I think Forza Horizon 6, I think could be, but I still think it's going to be Call of Duty. I just think that it's too big a franchise to not start with that. So I think that's what they're going to do. But if it's of interest to me, it would be Forza Horizon 6 kicks it off. What ends it? Look, I mean, like if they're going to show Halo, that to me is the thing you end it with. There is a possibility maybe they do Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe
someone said that in the chat.
So maybe that's what they end it with. Maybe it's a totally unknown thing we don't even know about, right? So some brand new thing, they're like, oh, and here's one more thing. And like, here you go, right? And something crazy shows up. But if I'm going to guess based on stuff we know or kind of can guess, I would say those two. It's going to be either Halo or Elder Scrolls, both of which are phenomenal picks if you're going to pick one. But again, there could be something we don't know is coming, and they're just going to show you a glimpse of something that's a few years out. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Me too.
So whatever they want to put in the end, I hope it has the same punch as what they did with E-Day. Because, oh my God, was that the best ending to a showcase ever? Like, that was so good. The way they did it, like for anybody who's a fan of the series, all the emotion that went into that was so crazy. Very well done. I hope they have something just as punchy that just leaves you in awe of the showcase. And that, like that last moment, is what's going to determine whether it's an A or a B or a C. So like that, you need to have like just nail it, right? Nail the end. And I hope they do just that, right? They just leave you and like, oh my God, that was epic, right? So that's what I'm hoping for. Elder Scrolls can do that, as we just saw with Oblivion taking over the world with zero marketing, right?
Zero marketing, by the way. It's shadow drop.
Right. You know, it's certainly Halo could do that if they do it right. If they put that thing together right, holy crap. Right. So, and if they have something new, I'm all for it. I'd love to see it. But that's what, you know, I think it's one of those. Hopefully it's one of those two games, Halo or Elder Scrolls. But again, I'm all for brand new stuff. Any of the new projects that we haven't heard about, I'm all for it. So, but that's what I think it'd probably be.
Those are phenomenal picks, brother. Absolutely phenomenal picks. Goosebump inducing, I would dare say. Okay, Asante, let's get your opening and closing. Because again, I think Hargeet really positioned it well. A big opening sets the tone, right? Like it's just gonna be one first party banger after another. Something needs to blow our socks off that we're like, holy shit. We're at game 4, and I can't stop thinking about game 1. And of course, to bookend it, it's oh my God, that show, and oh my God, could you believe what they closed with? What are your 2 picks, man?
They start, and it could go either way, and my brain keeps going back and forth, but I'm thinking about it. You got to start with Halo, man. You got to start with Halo. You got to start with Halo. You got to do it, because you know why?
I love it.
Because in previous years, Halo's your biggest dog, but funny enough, it's no longer your biggest dog. Right? That's usually your mic drop. That's usually we're done here. Throw the mic down. It's making noise. It's resonating off the speakers. No, you still have Call of Duty to show. So you start with Halo. And I would say I would say it's a trifecta. You start with Halo. Somewhere in the middle, there's got to be more gameplay of what do you call it, Clockwork Revolution, and you end with Call of Duty.
Phenomenal
one
picks,
crazy bombastic game after another, all gameplay related. It would move units. I think it would surprise people.
I mean, look, again, phenomenal opening closing picks from both Hargeet Chani and Kazante. I think that so officially, what's your opening and closing? Because I lost track for a second.
Sure. You start with Halo.
Okay, so
you end with Call of Duty 6. You end with Call of Duty.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm a Call of Duty nut, folks. Let's call it spade. You're seeing on the screen. I just hit. I'm a match away from Prestige Master 80, level 80. Now, granted, that's low in the totem pole. I've seen Prestige Master 356. Like, it's ridiculous, some of these numbers. For me, I'm going to back you up on the opening of the show with Halo. And how that has to happen is it's got to be a mission that shows off what they were able to do with this game. Remember, the rumor, Kay, is that they're supposed to remake from the ground up Halo Combat Evolved, and this has been in development. Again, it's a rumor, folks, not official, from the ground up, and it's been worked on for a couple of years. And for me personally, like if I go back to Halo Combat Evolved, the assault on the control room mission is probably one of my favorites, because you get to use the freaking Scorpion tank, right? And of course, that's when you get introduced into some of their vehicles, the Covenant's vehicles as well. There are a lot of moments. Me personally, and I like that one. For me, because we haven't seen them in a very long time, and who does not want to see them return in a big way? I would love to see when Chief first meets the Flood. I think it's right after the library level, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't played it in many, many years. For me, seeing the Flood redone in Unreal Engine 5, all gross and nasty, and that's how you show. Like, you can do any kind of opening you want for Halo. You can, and how they do it though, how they have to do it. You got to hear the opera. You got to hear the minute you start to hear that to open. And again, I don't care. I actually think it's more powerful to close the show with that Halo, because I know everybody's just asking for Halo, and I'm right there. I need, and Kay, you've said this multiple times, we need a single player Halo game, even if it's a remake of Combat Evolved. I haven't played it in a long time. Give me that, and you know what? It will hold me over until whatever they decide to do with Halo. So open or close, I think it's more powerful closing, but I do think it does do a significant amount of heavy lifting if you open the show. So I actually don't care which one. But so what I'm going to do, folks, just for some shits and giggles here, before we get to the super chats and we'll get everyone out of here, because again, it's a shorter show. We just had a couple of topics. Tomorrow, I'm doing a pretty hefty blowout panel for the last licks of the, right before the show, because it's the last show that I'm doing on this week, and I have a pretty decent panel. Mav is coming back. Infinite Umber is going to be there. Fuzzy Belvedere. I have a few other guests lined up. Will the Broke Boy Lewis is going to be joining us. He's somebody in the chat all the time, so he'll be joining us. Web Dave, if you want to pop on, brother, let me know. I'll send you an invite. He gave a super chat earlier. I want to read that in a second. So what I'm going to do is take Halo and
Web Dave will be in LA at that time.
He'll be in LA. That's right. He is flying in. So Dave, forget that. That's right. I forgot you're actually getting into LA midday. So we're actually going to meet the first time. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to meet Web Dave. So we're going to take Halo, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to put it over here, right on the end, because I think it's powerful. I think it's too powerful to open the show. You close the show, because Hargeet made mention of it. That Gears closing, oh my freaking goodness, so good. So what opens the show, ladies and gentlemen? Well, here's my thoughts and my theories. So walk with me, folks. Right? Lights dark, right? And it's all you hear. You hear. They start with an audio cue, and it's from a distance, and you hear the revving of an engine. Like it's a car that's cooking, right? And it gets super, super close, and it's like they show the car, and it's like a Super GT. It's all tricked out. It's got lights. It's got the tail. It's cooking. And they pan back, and it's this car driving towards Mount Fuji, and the flash screen pops on. Forza Horizon 6. It's in Japan, releasing this fall. Holy shitballs, ladies and gentlemen, if that happens. And if you didn't get goosebumps from that, you are not even a human being. I'm going to tell you right now, because my goosebumps are on top of goosebumps. That's how you open the show. And my God, ladies and gentlemen, if they open with Forza Horizon 6 in Japan, releasing this year, and they have Halo Combat Evolved in Unreal Engine closing out the show, and then in the middle, you get Gears of War E-Day gameplay. Talk about the Trinity showing up in the biggest way possible. Oh, and by the way, they still have, 30-something studios to show other stuff like Stave Decay or Clockwork Revolution or Perfect Dark or Fable. It is going to be an absolute insane asylum kind of a show. I'm so excited for this, gentleman. I think it's going to be a 15 out of 10, and you can't tell me otherwise. Like, if they, again, folks, the only thing I was able to get from my source is that they're keeping it close to the vest and that 3 people know about it. That is the only thing that I've been told. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I'm actually super glad, because I'm going to be in the audience at the Community Fan Fest, and I'm going to be watching it with you guys and gals and jumping out of my chair like a maniac, because I'm going to be so excited. Look, that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you had a fun time. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read everybody. I mean, the chat was going so fast, and we are limited, on time. Let me just read the 3 super chats that we did get today. The first one is from Web Dave, who I'm going to meet for the first time this upcoming weekend. He drops a very generous $2 super chat, as he's done on his own show. He's being scandalous. He says, look at all the games coming to Xbox. Sony is dead. I mean, he's talking about the Sony state of play. I mean, again, I enjoyed it, but from 2 different angles. From a games fan, it was a great show. From a PlayStation only fan, not so much, especially first party. And again, I'm super stoked for Arc System Works. Oh my God, I cannot wait for that fighter. Gamer by Choice drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, I want Red Dead Redemption 3 and online. Now, Red Dead Redemption 3, man,
that's a long ways away.
Yeah, that's 5 years away at least, in my opinion. But get excited, because there's a rumor. Nate the Hate actually put out a rumor this afternoon that the Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 5 Pro are getting an update to Red Dead Redemption 2. So, I mean, again, I stopped playing that in Chapter 6. I will probably finish it once the update happens. I didn't get past it. I know I'm close to the end, but Chapter 6 is where I stopped, and I don't know why I stopped, but I did. The opening for that game is stunning, like incredible. The Duck of Death drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, First Light Bond looks like the young Dexter actor from the prequel show. I didn't watch that, but I like the way he's animated. He looks great. I like what I saw. I'm very surprised that it's third person. Like, I wasn't sure whether they were going to go third person or first person, because I always known for their third person. I'm kind of glad they went third person. But let's get everyone out of here. A big thank you to everyone that has supported the channel today, through their super chats and of course their views. Hargy China, let's tell the brand, brother. Obviously, you're going to be putting a lot of stuff on your YouTube channel this coming weekend. You have a lot of play dates for the IGN event. You also have some play dates coming for another event. Tell everyone where you're going to be, where they could potentially meet up with you, catch up if they're in the LA area, and obviously where they can subscribe to your YouTube channel, because I would imagine you're going to have a lot to show and post on that. And of course, we want to continue your trek into now 2,000 subscribers. So the brand, brother. And of course, with all of that said, he still has a book that you can buy called Emergence, ladies and gentlemen. So the brand, brother.
Yeah, so if you want to pick up the book, it's shop.china.us. Check that out. And check out my YouTube channel, Hargy Chani 1. Yeah, I'll be posting up stuff. We are hosting the Fan Fest showcase for community. And yeah, I'll be recording stuff, and I'll be putting stuff up on my channel and other channels. So if you want to see some of the stuff, you can check it out there. We will try to broadcast the pre-show live. So if you don't know, we have a pre-show before the actual showcase. The panels out there, it's like Paris and Khalif and
nice.
Danny Pena and Rihanna, and I think it's Brittany, right? And so yeah, you can check that out. That will be we will live stream that, so you can check that out on my channel and probably Haynes' channel. I don't know if we're gonna so that's Season Gaming. I don't know if we're going to put in other ones or not, but at least those two. And then I will at least have the recordings that we will put up later for the other stuff that's happening. And Kiyosante will be doing some fun things. I won't get into details, but anyways, there'll be fun things going on. But we will put that up later. And yeah, so check that out. And as far as catching me, this weekend is out. I'm not doing any of the normal Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night podcast, obviously, because we're all out there. I will be pretty busy pretty much most of the time. But if you want to catch me, we'll probably be at the JW Marriott. So check out the lounge over there and see if you can find us over there. I'll be at Summer Game Fest. And then I'll be in a whole bunch of Playday stuff. And of course, if you are coming out to LA and have signed up for Community Fan Fest and you're in, you can certainly see us there, right? So we will all be there, all three of us, and you can meet up with all of us there as well. And there's a lot of fun events going on, so check that out. If you're coming there, we'll definitely catch up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna be live streaming a couple of times from LA. I'm gonna probably I don't have anything lined up exactly when, but I will be doing a couple of live streams, kind of keep everybody up to date. Live react to what happened with the with Keely's event, what happened obviously later on in the evening on Sunday before I fly out back to New York. I'll probably do a quick show to kind of recap what happened with Xbox. And Saturday, Kay and I are going to be at the IGN live event, which we got tickets for. Last year's was pretty cool. If you're an old school E3 fan, last year's show was pretty good. They had a whole arcade section, that whole lot of stuff for you to play. I very much enjoyed myself. Actually, me and Kay ran into one of the IGN guys. We were like, "Yeah, man, it was a fun show." It was nice to talk to them. And again, not everybody at IGN's an a-hole. Only some of them. Not everyone is bad. But Kay Asante, let's tell the brand, brother. Obviously, you're probably going to be doing some sort of live streaming. You have something you're working on, which I cannot wait for you to announce to the world. That's very exciting. Again, it's I don't know if we could literally be podcasting at the same time from the room because we're sharing a room together. So that is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Kay Asante, tell the brand, brother. Tell people where they can potentially meet up with you this weekend. Catch up if you're going to be in LA. Reach out to us, DM us, let us know where you are. We'll tell you where we are, and we can meet and greet. And where can people subscribe to, of course, the Gaming Circle podcast?
Yeah, man. So it's a crazy time, as everybody knows at this point. Most of us won't be having our shows. We won't be there this weekend because we'll be heading into LA. I too will be leaving on Friday morning. I'll be heading out there. So I want to keep it dynamic. Most likely have as we see cool stuff, we'll post it and put it up. So keep an eye on the channel. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, hitting that icon so that when I do post those interesting things that I find that you'll be able to share it with us as well. But yeah, man, it is gamer Christmas at this point, and
indeed it is.
Hargeet and team are putting on quite the show. I can't wait to tell you what I'm not allowed to say yet, but oh boy, it's gonna be wild. So yeah, looking forward to talk about it when I get back. But yeah, man, TK Asante on all those places that we communicate, and you follow me, I follow you back, and keep an eye on what's going on in the socials because it's going to be a wild one, I suspect.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to be recording everything with my smartphone, using it to my smart advantage. I learned that from very early in my YouTube career, thanks to the tutelage, if you will, of Lord Cognito. I had in 2019 when it came to my first E3, and I went to the Fortnite booth, and it was freaking amazing. And I recorded on my phone. I think it was like 10 minutes. And we got back to the compound, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to delete this. And he comes running over and literally shakes me and says, don't you freaking dare put that up on YouTube. What's wrong with you? I'm like, yeah, but it's Fortnite. He goes, bro, put it up on YouTube. And to this day, it's one of my most viewed. I think it's like 46,000 views or something ridiculous like that. And it was just, I just walked around with my camera, and and the booth was very impressive. They had the real bus hanging from the ceiling. There were all the characters dressed, anime characters. It was awesome. But I was like, no one's going to care. Yeah, 46,000 people care. So that's why I record everything, and I just throw it up on YouTube. And if it hits, it hits. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Again, if you're going to be in the LA area, seek us out. We cannot wait to, mingle and hang out with you guys and gals. A lot of meets and greets are going to be happening. The big community fan fest. Once again, we got to give major props.
Do I bring console wars?
I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't bring console wars. You won the last time, so I'm owed a rematch at least. By the way,
I'm just saying, come find us and play console wars with us. This will be awesome. Absolutely.
You mean this console wars?
Absolutely, sir. Yeah,
console wars, right? That's right. I supported John and his mission to get that game out.
And they'll be there.
And they will be there. I cannot wait. John's
great.
There. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Again, if you're going to be in the LA area, please DM us and we can set up some sort of meet and greet. It's going to be a busy couple of days. We're going to have fun, but we're actually ultimately going to work. A lot of us use this as work trips, and again, it's content, trying to get as much out there as possible. And a lot of it's going to be done on the cuff. Like here, it's shorts. It's again, reach out to us and we will see if we can, find a common ground so we can all meet and greet. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Mrs. Boom and I really appreciate the support. Once again, we are back over 16,000 for the love of Joe. We had a couple people spite unsub, which, I'm going to get you, Boom. It's fine. We will get back there. And what I say, we did. So it's great. Appreciate all the support for the new subs. I think we're at like 1610 now, which is awesome. So we have some breathing room. I don't think 10 people are going to spite unsub, but you just never know. But ladies and gentlemen, have a great evening. Again, tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to have a nice panel of people that have not already spoken their mind about what they expect from the show. And that show is going live 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to run about 70 minutes. It's going to have about 6 people on the panel. So tune in for that. And of course, then no breakfast at Boom Friday morning because I'll be in the air flying. And I'm going to see what I can do for live streams once I'm settled in LA. But a big thank you to all the super chats that came in today. A big thank you to everyone that hits the like button, shares this on social media, and any potential new subscribers. Again, we do really appreciate the support. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me with kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick XL.